right, Panther fans. So, it's Sunday. It's August. It's hot in this basement. And I know you've seen the title of this video and you're wondering, what in the hell is this crazy old man talking about? But I'm going to get there, all right? Look, it was this or watch me mow the lawn, all right? It's hot out there. It's 3 acres. It won't stop growing. Although yesterday would have made for great content. I decided to take my hedge clipper and I cut the refrigerant line to a very old 1970s central air unit that was apparently still attached to the house that I didn't realize was still attached. I thought I had cut the gas line, but since I didn't explode and it didn't smell like natural gas, I eventually figured out that it was the refrigerant line to this old AC unit. So that would actually make good content because I got sprayed. It was interesting. Now, how in the hell does the 2010 draft and Dale Talon lead to us? In part, it's not so much of a stretch. You'll get there. How did that lead to Tkachuk? All right. So now, first of all, you guys know if you've been following this channel, the 2010 draft is kind of special to me because I started this channel when we traded Gabranson. Not long after that, anyway. It was that summer. Well, it was that fall. The summer, you know what I mean. In the summer we traded Gabranson, I started the channel in the fall. Now, the Gabranson trade. In 2010 we had 3 first-round picks. Let's start there. We took Gabranson, Bukestad, and Quentin Howden. Quentin Howden's never did anything, not in the league, not a factor. So that leaves us with Gabranson and Bukestad. Gabranson was the first trade. We traded Gabranson, okay, for Jared McCann and 2 picks. And we proceeded to take those 2 picks and turn them into Adam Mashrin and Jonathan Ang. And you know what happened there? Nothing. So the Gabranson tree appeared to have borne no fruit. Except, a few years later, we took Bukestad and McCann and we made a trade with Pittsburgh. Now that trade was for Brassard, Sheehan, let me look at my paper, a 2nd-round pick, and 2 4th-round picks. Now, the good news, and this is where I need to look at my notes because some of these names. All right. For Brassard, we eventually ended up trading Brassard for a 3rd-round pick, which we used to take Justin Sourdeff, who's still in the system. Nice player, might turn out to at least be a 3rd-line type of guy. He's still an asset. Let's leave it that way, okay? Then, with our 2nd pick, I'm just going to put this name on the screen. I'm not even going to, you want me to try it? Let's try it. Vladislav Kolyachonuk. There's no way that that's right. So somehow we took him with the 2nd-round pick. And then with the 1st and the 4th-round picks that we got, we took Carter Berger. So I guess we were fresh out of guys that could pronounce Russian, and we had to go with the most neutral, easily pronounced. I can't even pronounce the word easily. You get what I'm saying. 2 guys that sound a lot differently. Now, here's where we get to the connection. And look, you have to give Talon credit where credit is due. Even if it's weak and it's a thin line, the 2nd, 4th-round pick that we got in that trade, we used to trade to Columbus for their 3rd-round pick to take Cole Schwindt. Where'd we just send Schwindt? Where'd we just send him? Boop, right to Calgary as part of the sweetener for the Tkachuk trade. So, basically that means that somehow what we did with all those 1st-round picks in 2010, as bad as it looks, as bad as it was, as bad as it is, it was bad. I'm not undoing that. It was bad. Somehow, Dale Talon, that was all Talon. Now, obviously, Zito is the one that traded Schwindt, but all those moves were Talon. Somehow, he managed to eke out enough value to have a player that was a sweetener in basically the biggest blockbuster trade in the NHL in how long, right? So, goes to show a couple of things. Nobody has ripped Talon more than I have, okay? And he's made some bad deals, but if you can somehow, if you can somehow keep assets available and lessen how bad your deals were and lessen how bad your draft picks were. You have to give credit there. And at the same time, you know, we've started to see now Zito's getting different players. And this is what, you know, we're starting to see a separation between how Talon ran things and how Zito ran things. But there's still some pieces there left over from Talon that the cupboard is not completely bare. So I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to look at that draft again because there's so much talk about the first round picks and the fact that we don't have the picks anymore. You know what I mean? And all I'm seeing all over the place since Huberdeau signed is Calgary robbed Florida. Calgary easily won the deal. Bitch, please. I'm just going to say it. Bitch, please. Neither one of these guys have been on the ice for their new teams whatsoever. All right? And what's the new word? Recency bias? I guarantee the first month of the season when the Panthers are getting used to their new defensive system and the new coach, and they're not as hot as they were at the beginning of last season, which we were undefeated at the beginning of last season, so we were never going to stay at that level. There was always going to be some drop-off. I guarantee you we're going to see another level of the Flames won the trade. The Flames that... Look, when we play on the ice... There's only, I said this in the last video, there's only one way to solve this, and that's in the Stanley Cup Finals. Because we're only going to play, what, do we play them twice? Do we play them twice during the regular season? I know we play them once. I don't know, I assume we play them twice. That's my guess. You can't really settle it in a regular season thing. And unless one team wins a cup, right? Like if both teams just go on to never get past the second round, we did the same thing that we already did, just with different players. So until somebody wins a cup, it's all conjecture. And I get it. It's opinions and it's conjecture. But it's just interesting to watch because I think most Florida fans I'm seeing are saying, hey, we don't know. Because let's see how this all plays out. Because if any franchise has been used to getting the new player who's going to put us over the edge and then it doesn't happen, it's the Panthers. But a lot of the Flames fans I'm seeing are so certain that they have just obliterated us with this trade. And maybe long-term asset-wise, it's possible. But as this video shows, sometimes you can still take things. Remember, I mean, who knows? We did get a fourth from Calgary, right? Okay? We did get a fourth from Calgary in the deal. And in this video, I just showed you how we took one of our fourths, traded it for a third, for a guy who was an asset in a mega deal. It ain't over yet. Let's let these games happen on the ice. Let's let these two guys, let's let all the guys settle in and play before we decide who wins, if anybody wins, if both teams win. I get it. It's August. We got to have something to talk about. But it's just, I wish we could play now. I think that's the point. I wish we could just, can we just skip the season and just play like 7 games? Make it an 11-game series. Can we just cancel our preseason and have like 5 preseason games against Calgary and Florida, and just settle it on the ice somehow, right? It's the only way we're ever going to know. All right, I'm starting to sweat now. It's the humidity. You know, it doesn't get humid here for long in Maryland, but boy, there's 2 weeks in July and a week in August where it's just like 88 every day, and just, I mean, when you go outside in the morning, it's like it's poured all night, but it didn't. It's just that wet. But that's okay, because by the 13th, I'll be putting on Twitter how the high is 82 and the low is 63, and you all will be, all right. Got to give Dale got to give, I can't, this is the second time in a row I'm trying to close the video with a smart ass comment and I can't talk. So I'm just going to shut up.